That was part of Donna Lee by me, Charlie Parker, but everyone calls him Bird. I'm the bee's knees man, the cat's pajamas. My inventive and original style of writing songs and improvising makes me one of, if not the most influential musicians to jazz and specifically bebop. They say half of all other sax player style comes from me, the Bird. I was born in Kansas City, August 29, 1920. When I was young, my mother got me a sax, but I didn't get into it until high school. I knew about the strong musical scene in Kansas City. Because my mother worked nights, I would sneak out and listen to jazz. Art Tatum was my absolute favorite. Jazz at the time was different than it was now. It was ragtime, blues, and swing. They played songs, but there was hardly any improvisation. There was bits and pieces built into the song, but there wasn't a lot of artistic freedom. At 14, I dropped out of high school to master my instrument. I was playing at a bar one night in 1937, and I didn't know nothing about key, like different chord qualities of scales. I was playing this one song with some guys, and I was in a completely different key. Like if I was playing a D, they were playing like an A or something, and it didn't work out. After that, I got real embarrassed, as you'd expect, so I decided to figure it out. I'd practice for upwards of 11 hours a day. I kept thinking there's bound to be something else. I could hear it sometimes, but I couldn't play it. That same year, I got into a car accident. I fractured my spine and had 3 broken ribs. That's a lot of pain for a 17-year-old, so they put me on painkillers. I got addicted to them, and this led to my lifelong addiction to heroin that affected my life and that of other musicians forever. I heard Max Roach once said, many musicians would try to be like Bird and find themselves hooked on drugs. I didn't recommend narcotics, but people would associate drugs with good jazz. A little after that, I played with Tommy Douglas, and from 37 to 38, I was with Buster Smith. In the December of 1939, I had a musical revelation playing the song Cherokee by Ray Noble. I used higher chord intervals, like 9ths, 11ths, and 13ths, and then resolved that tension with a complex shower of just the right notes. This was new stuff, man, never heard before. I was finally able to play what I've been hearing in my head for so long. In 1941, I joined Jay McShann's orchestra. This was the beginning of my mature playing style. From 1942 to 43, I played in Earl Hines Band. This is where I met Dizzy Gillespie. Dizzy Gillespie was like my brother. We were musical soulmates. When we played, it was magic. In 1944, I was in Billy Eckstine's band, and a little after that, from 44 to 45, I was with Dizzy Gillespie. He helped me to start bebop on the small group scene of New York's 52nd Street. John Faddis once said that if I was the stylist, Dizzy Gillespie was the architect that taught the musicians how to play the music. I used to come over to Dizzy's house, and his wife Lorraine wouldn't let me in. So I'd be in the hallway playing, and Dizzy would write it down, and then later he'd show that to the other musicians. Bebop was jazz at its finest. Fast-paced solos based on the harmonic structure, not melodies. Basically, it took jazz and ragtime and did the exact opposite. and alcohol abuse, I checked into a hospital for 6 months in 1945. I returned to New York, and as Dizzy Gillespie once said, it was the height of my power. I was in a quintet with Dizzy Gillespie and Max Roach, Bud Powell, and Curly Russell. Bird's daughter died in 1954. He got very depressed. He used more and more drugs and drank more and more. He died the next year at 34. His body was so ravaged by abused substances that the coroner estimated his age at 53. They say when he died, his hands were curved, like holding a saxophone. Although he struggled with substance abuse, he was also charismatic, generous, profoundly creative, and somehow inspirational. A self-taught innovator who could fly higher and cut deeper than any other musician. Miles Davis once summarized jazz history in 4 words: Louis Armstrong, Charlie Parker. He had just what we needed. He had the line and he had the rhythm. The way he got from one note to the next, and the way he played the rhythm fit what we were trying to do. We heard him and knew the music had to go his way. He was the other half of my heartbeat, Dizzy Gillespie. Parker redefined the world of jazz. His complex rhythms and improvisational style influenced musicians and changed the landscape of music forever.